Hello, and welcome to Can Do Teaching. Each episode, we invite expert staff from Canterbury Elementary School in Crystal Lake, Illinois, to share tips, tricks, and a few laughs in support of all of our listeners. Together, we can do this. Thanks for tuning in today. This is Stacy Graff, the principal at Canterbury Elementary School.
And I am Amy Fournier, the assistant principal here at Canterbury Elementary. Today we're excited because we have two amazing experts here from Canterbury to talk about EL strategies. Ladies, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Monica Diaz, and I'm our EL teacher here at Canterbury.
Hi, this is Ana Pascual. I'm the other EL teacher here at Canterbury, and I share buildings too with North Elementary.
Wonderful. Thank you, ladies, for being here and for introducing yourselves. Before we dive right into strategies, I know both of you have stories about being EL learners. So do you want to share kind of your backgrounds and your paths to being here?
Me, in my case, Ana Pascual, I'm a teacher from Spain, and I'm here. This is my third year teaching in the district, and I have to say that I'm a newcomer EL teacher in the district. It's something new for me. I mean, I had a language for my country. I was studying English for a long time, never mastering never fluent enough. Or this is how newcomers feel like I'm not proficient. I know I'm able to communicate, but I understand the stress of being not speaking in your own language, right? So it's an amazing journey for me working with students that are in the same position that I am here in the country. I can understand the stress that they feel.
Yes.
We love that you have that insight and get to bring that and share that with our students. That's meaningful to them, and we're appreciative of that. Monica, do you have a story?
Yeah, so similar to Ana, I lived in Peru actually, and so on the other opposite spectrum, I was a newcomer to the Spanish language for a few years. My husband is Peruvian, and we met in Lima, and so he moved to the United States, and when we met, Edwin did not speak any English, and so he and I, he taught me Spanish, I taught him English, and so together we kind of blended our family, and now our children are learning both languages in the dual language program in Woodstock. And so just having that experience of being bicultural and understanding where our students are coming from when they do come to us here at Canterbury, even that culture shock experience is so real. So I think that being able to, having gone through that ourselves a little bit, can help us identify more with our students and our kiddos that are having that experience.
And this is one of the reasons we love Canterbury so much, because we have such a diverse staff, and we get to learn about these experiences through all of you, and it just makes this a really rich place for students and adults to learn. So thank you for bringing those experiences to us today. So our main topic today is EL strategies, and we know you two are experts and have a million, but we asked you to bring just a few ideas with you that might support our teachers in the classrooms as they're working with their students, whether it's in dual language or in our monolingual classrooms. What are some EL strategies that are really going to make a difference for their students?
So with my kiddos in my small group, and even classroom teachers can use these in their classrooms, I really focus on what kind of language can the students produce. And so there is that silent period that our newcomers go through, and they might be in the very early stages of proficiency where they're really either not able to produce any language, or they're just starting to repeat phrases, short phrases and words. Yeah. And so really knowing and setting those expectations to push them to that next level and allowing them to use their native language in the partner. So depending on their proficiency level, we can set their goals. And so with the kids who are having a higher proficiency level, having them become accountable for that talk, we do want them, the silent period really only lasts for like a few months. So after a few months, they will be producing, and we do want to expect them to be producing some language. And so partnering them, whether they having different partners as well throughout the classroom, buddies, the Kagan cooperative grouping structures. And then I always, as many visuals or gestures, a small gesture can go a long way when you're teaching. And so making the language comprehensible to them so that they, even if you have to draw a little stick figure or draw something really quickly, a small sketch on the board, making whatever your lesson is comprehensible to them through those kinds of supports, that can go a long way as well.
Absolutely. Do you want to add to that? Because I know, Anna, you work with a lot of newcomers in your groups. Do you want to talk about some of the challenges and strengths? They have a lot of strengths that they bring with them.
It is great, and as I was telling you before, it's a great opportunity for me to work with them because I learn a lot in the way with them. Really, I learn a lot. I would like to tell you a little story that I had as a newcomer, because I was working in Houston before, and it was my first experience in the US. And I was teaching pre-K. I had a 24 years old students in my room, and at that school I do have a lot of kids coming straight from Mexico, Honduras, El Salvador. They were speaking in Spanish, but when I went to Houston, I need to learn Spanish again because my Spanish was completely different. And right now I can laugh about the story, but at that time it was so scary and frustrating for me for minutes because I did have they were working together. It was a Montessori ambience, and they were working. And then one of my little students, it was like a month. The school started 1 month ago, and then she started crying and crying, and she was like, I was looking at her and I was thinking, wow, what is happening? I cannot understand her. She was like, maestra, mi chongo. And I was like, what is a chongo? Because in Spanish for me, it's no meaning at all. And she was crying. And she was talking, my mom is going to be so mad at me because of mi chongo. And I cannot understand what chongo. And I was thinking, maybe she's dying and I don't know. And I was scared and frustrated. And I was like, what should I do? And sometimes I understand how the students feel, because I think it's like, okay, I can't understand you. You're not understanding. You don't know what is happening right now. So in the end, the story ends that my paraprofessional entering the classroom, look at me with my scared face, like, what is happening? And like, what happened, Pascual? And I was like, I cannot understand her. She's speaking in Spanish, but I don't understand her. And she told me, her chongo is her ponytail. It's not straightening off, you know. Okay, it's okay. I was trying to get her comfort as much as I can. Like, it's okay, everything is gonna be fine, my friend. But it was her, and I was like, okay, And I understand them when they are listening to announcements. Like, I don't know what they are talking about, maestra. Is something important? Yes, they are talking about this and that. I mean, for me, the most important part, the very first part of working with newcomers is making them feel safe. Like a safe environment. They are super welcome at school. They are not understanding what is happening, but everybody's here for you, and they need to know that.
Yes.
I love to know little details that are important for them. Like maybe it's not important when I'm, about academics, but knowing the little village in their places. Look at them and Google Maps. That is an amazing resource for me because I learn really a lot of things like where is this little village in Mexico or in El Salvador. And the other day, one of the students, when we were looking at their little village, they saw his grandma and their window in Google Maps.
Oh, that is such a neat story. What fun for that child to be able to see his grandmother. So, like, what are the chances, right? Amy, do you have some questions for our experts today?
Yeah, so we hear a lot about oracy. So can you tell us what is oracy? Why is it important? And how can teachers work on oracy in their classrooms?
Absolutely. So oracy is the ability to speak and also specifically speak about academic subjects. So speak and understand text as well. So and it leads right into writing. And so a lot of us have that social language where we are able to have a social conversation and talk about what happened over the weekend. That's different than oracy. Oracy is specifically able to use the academic vocabulary and the language of books. And so when we talk about oracy in our instruction, we specifically do need to pre-teach and have strategies to teach vocabulary. So there are different ways that we can look at vocabulary, and I know that I've worked with our awesome reading team here at Canterbury and how we can pre-teach and build some of that oracy, especially in our younger grades. We're working on some oral language groups in kindergarten, and themes go a long way. So when you're talking about teaching vocabulary, because that makes it comprehensible, kids need, it can't just be specific vocabulary from the book just that day, because the way that our brains work is we remember vocabulary over time. So if you're dealing with a theme and you've revisited it several times, that will help it get stuck in the kids' brains. And so you can just straight up define the word for the child the first time you introduce it, but then you want to make sure there's multiple times that you're going back to those vocabulary words in that theme within your unit. You can use cognates. That's another thing that we want, especially in our dual language programs.
Yeah, that is a great help for them, because math, for example, when they are talking about subtraction, sustracción, or addición in Spanish are the same words, so it's a great help for them.
Yes, no, absolutely. Thank you, because that is so key. There are so many Spanish and English cognates that will help bridge that. And really, they're talking about, all the research says that language is, there's no divide. So their language is a total sum of all the language that they have. So once they can make that bridge, we see if some of our students come to us with good native language literacy, they're easily able to then transfer that over to their second language.
Yes.
And then something I'm learning more about are like the morphemes within the language. So breaking teaching the root and then different parts of language can help learners, especially our intermediate grades and those in more advanced levels, to be able to start to think about how language works and adding the ing and is this a verb, and especially when you're trying to push them into like the higher levels, 4 and 5 proficiency levels, where they're making some of those grammar errors. That's when you can really do some of those lessons and help them reflect on the different parts of language. So vocabulary is an important part of oracy. And then that leads right into writing. And so if they can say it, they can write it. And you would always want them to be, you would never want a child to write something, for example, that they wouldn't be able to say. And I know I've worked with our reading recovery teachers too, and sometimes they do, even if they make that error, they're writing it anyway because that's their natural language and that's what they're going to do independently. And so we can always take that as, oh, this is a teaching point that I know I have to teach For example, like pronouns, he or she, or I want to teach him and her. But even if they made that mistake in that one lesson, that's the way that they're going to write it, and it gives us a lot of information in terms of like making our goals.
Absolutely. I love all those ideas and such great strategies that are practical and people can implement easily in their classrooms. Thank you for that. I know here at Canterbury, all of our teachers are like all heart. You know, they just love kids, and we talk about relationships with kids a lot. Before we wrap up, could you talk a little bit just about why knowing your kids first and relationships are so important for these specific learners?
I mean, I think everybody knows that, as you were saying, everybody here is thinking about the students all the time, but it is so important to feel safe. I mean, if you're gonna be learning in a new place, in a different language, and you're gonna make errors all the time, as I do, and you need to feel safe. Like, I feel safe in here to be not speaking English perfectly, but I'm here with all of you sharing. You need to feel safe. You need to feel that important environment. Like, it's okay. Change everything. I mean, if you feel safe, if you feel happy, if you feel welcome in an environment, it's completely different for you in a learning environment, working environment, whatever. It's like I think everybody here wants our students to feel home.
Yes.
Like, I'm home. I'm here with the teachers. They're here for me. They want to teach me. They want me to learn. I feel okay. I'm gonna have my lunch in a while. They feel that we are taking care of them, and that is amazing.
Yeah,
that is amazing.
Well, and hearing you tell your story and how stressed you felt, and speaking with that little girl, and being able to relate and not want another student to feel that stress. I have felt that stress too, being a monolingual speaker myself, and trying to communicate with our newcomers especially. I have felt that stress as well. So it's really important that we understand that, and that we help our kiddos, reduce that level of stress and feel comfortable in communicating here too. So,
and expanding that idea to our families as well.
Absolutely.
Like, our families, it doesn't matter what language our families speak, they're welcome here, and they need to feel safe and welcome here, just like we want our kids and our staff to. So that's something that's really important to us, and I don't want families to ever feel like they're not in a safe place when they join our building, and our staff does a great job of making that the kind of environment that we have here. So thank you, ladies, for sharing your expertise. You did a fantastic job, and I hope everyone will listen next time. Thanks for joining us.